Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. We have a show full of hot topics everyone's talking about. And then later in the show, we welcome the talented Skylar Reed. She has a brand new EP out called Note to Self. We'll just talk for later on the show. I want to remind you all over social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, of course, TikTok, and our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show. Please subscribe, comment, and share. Make sure that you are registered to vote. It is very important. We're in an important election year. And we want to celebrate everything that's being celebrated this month. We have African American Music Appreciation Month, Men's Mental Health Month is very important, and of course LGBT Pride Month. So celebrate, live your life. All right, Chike, how you feeling today?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
Good. Do anything exciting for the weekend? Listen, I'm here. Do anything exciting over the weekend?
So I've been kind of busy. Can I just announce I have a new job. I'm now one of the contributing writers for Philly Soul magazine.
Oh.
And I just completed my first article, so I turned it into my editor-in-chief. So we'll see how things go.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And I attended the annual Doonday Festival in Philadelphia.
Okay, yeah, I saw the pictures. Like a good time.
Yeah.
A good time, yeah. I had another chill weekend. I did hang out with some friends here and there, but not like usual. So I was glad to be home and just relax and everything. But we back on the grind. It's Monday. Well, as you can see, Linnea and Brittany are out today. They both had other things going on, so we'll see them next week. But so me and Chike gonna hold it down solo. Well, is it duo? Or whatever. We're gonna hold it down. Yeah. All right. Well, our question of the day is: how do you know when someone is checked out from the relationship?
For me, it's when the actions diminish.
Mm-hmm.
To me, and I've always thought this, all of adulthood. If you pay attention, every relationship has a rhythm. You just have to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
And you can tell when the relationship changes, when the rhythm changes. As soon as that rhythm is not what it was, something's up.
Something's up. Yeah. And you know it. I think people are they have habits. They when something's off. But I do agree with that. I've always heard people say, when I don't care, that's when you should be worried. So yeah. But tweet us at home and let us know, how do you know when someone is checked out from relationships? Stephen Knight Show, SHO. All right. So hot topic. So Stephen A. Smith, he said on his show that he cannot support Will Smith, the new movie Bad Boys 4, because Will Smith he needs to have a conversation with the Black community. He acknowledged that Will Smith did apologize to Chris Rock after the Oscar slap. And he said it's really on Chris Rock whether or not he forgives him. But he said for him, and he said he's never missed a Will Smith movie. But in order for him to support this project and future projects about Will Smith needs to explain to the Black community why he slapped Chris Rock. Well, apparently the box office didn't agree, because this movie went #1 and it surpassed what they expected in terms of the budget to make the movie. And it's Will Smith's 6th highest grossing debut movie for debut week. So what are your thoughts? A lot of people are telling Stephen A. Smith, you said you're not Chris Rock. Why are you worried about this? What are your thoughts, Chike?
To the best that I can interject here, I think that he was wrong to step in the way of that man's bag the way that he did.
Right.
It's one thing for you to feel a certain way. It's another thing for you to feel a certain way. You have a platform that has power behind it and people that listen to you. If you were taking a stance, felt a certain way, you had, I guess, from the time that the incident happened all the way up before this movie was even put into production, to say something about it or to put that type of energy out in the atmosphere. Yeah. It's just funny to me, like the movie comes out and you want to use your platform to speak on this. I always get skeptical of people that have a platform. and they want to start protesting using their platform the way that they do. Don't get me wrong, for certain things, it's great. You can get the message out, but how I'm looking at it now is like you're trying to stop that man's bag. I understand that he did what he did, and that was between him and Chris Rock. Who are we to feel a certain way? I mean, we can feel a certain way about it. You make a personal choice that you're not going to go support the movie, but you have to realize that you have power when you use your platform to interject that way. I just thought it was bad form. I just thought it was ill.
Yeah, I did too. He's been making some kind of missteps lately, Stephen A. Smith, for some reason. I don't know what it's about, but yeah, I think
Missteps, Stephen? Is it missteps or is it vying for
intentionality.
attention?
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, the box office, the numbers don't lie. And they welcomed Will Smith back with open arms, him and Martin Lawrence. It wasn't just Will. And I saw this clip we posted on the Stephen A. Show that on our Instagram that Will Smith went to the theater, he disguised, he had a mask on. And after the movie, when they were all letting out, he surprised fans and they were excited. They were excited. Will Smith, no one is as bad as their worst day. You know what I mean? He has continually done great things throughout his career, and he had a moment, But again, that's between him and Chris.
Right. And I think that also, too, because it was his mistake that he made, it's up to him to get penance for his mistake. And he has to go about that the way he sees fit.
Yeah.
Whether we accept it or not is up to us. Yeah. But if Will wants to come out and be more personable and be more human and touch and agree with people the way that he is, and it's resonating, he's connecting with people, then that's his business. Absolutely. No one should stand in the middle of that. Because if it was the other way around and someone was trying to stop Steven's bag the way he's stopping Will, then he would have issues.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Congratulations to Will and Martin Lawrence. When it comes to controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark, Bill Maher suggests that she's being targeted by the WNBA rivals because she's not gay. Now, the late night TV host said during a broadcast that he believes race and sexuality have a lot to do with some of the hard fouling Clark has been receiving. He said it's because women are catty, the league is very lesbian, and she's not. And there's race. There's a lot going on. His statement was a response to Clark being knocked around by Chicago's Shindy Gardner. She's also a racial element to this. It's not always racism when it's a white person, he succeeds. So do you think what he's saying is because she's straight and she's white, that's why she's getting the fouls, people are being very aggressive with her on the court. Do you think that's the case?
That's not my opinion at all. I think that they're being aggressive on the court with her because her reputation preceded her from her college days, and those players knew who she was, and she's a dynamic player. They knew who she was coming into it, so they're going to give her the business. Yeah, because she's a rival, so they're going to give her the business. I don't think being gay or not gay has anything to do with it. I do believe that her race plays a part in it only up until a certain point. I watched the interview that Joy Reid and Jemele Hill had together. Mm-hmm. And one of the things mentioned was how certain things are being brought to the light with her bringing her privilege to the league. Yeah. And one of those things were having chartered flights for the team, which they didn't have. The males have chartered flights. Yeah. They can take a direct plane from one destination to the next, but the women had to take commercial flights. I.e., Brittany Griner, if she had a chartered flight, she would have never been in that situation with Russia. Yeah. Now, because Caitlin Clark has complained and there have been situations that she brought up, now the women have chartered flights. So is she getting privilege because of her whiteness and the privilege that she brings to the league now, because now people are paying attention? Or is it just because people don't gravitate toward her that way because she's Caucasian? Yeah. I think that multiple things can be true at the same time, but I don't think it has anything to do with sexuality. I
Yeah.
think that she's a A-plus player, and those women know that she's bringing her A-plus game to the WNBA, and they're giving her the fever right back.
Right.
We talked about this last week, and I think that I said that she needs to man up.
Yeah. And the thing is, you have to give her credit. She is a talented player. You know, she's the most scoring player in high school, well, player across the board in college basketball. But I think Linnea said it last week. The women WNBA is an aggressive sport. Like they go hard. And I think it's being publicized more because of who she is, probably because she's white and she's very good at the game. But I know, you know, they announced who's going to make the Olympic team, and she's not on there, and they're saying it's outrage. She's a rookie. She's a
So when I
rookie.
heard that, what is the outrage about that? She's brand new.
Right.
She hasn't paid any due yet. How does she earn to be on that team? She came straight from college. You're going to put her right into the Olympic team from college? Come
Yeah.
on, y'all.
And she even said, they asked her about, she said, I don't feel snubbed at all. I feel like it's something I can work towards. You know, hopefully I'll be on there one day.
Right, exactly.
People need to chill out. People need to chill out. All right, so we think about this, GK. So there's a restaurant in Missouri that's getting backlash over the owner's decision to only allow folks 30 years of age and older to dine in. So in an interview with KSD News, Marvin Pate, he's the owner, explained that he wants his restaurant to feel like older people are enjoying themselves at a resort. The restaurant assistant manager, Erica Rhodes, followed up. The restaurant is just something that older people can come and have a happy hour, come get some food, and not have to worry about some of the young folks who bring some of the drama. In order to eat at Bliss, is the name of the restaurant, women have to be 30 years old and men have to be at least 35 years old or older. Is this a good idea?
So before I was 21, I couldn't get into a club, until I turned 21, even though I had a fake ID and I was getting in it. But there had come a point in time where I reached the 21 benchmark, and then there was spaces that I couldn't get in until I was 25.
Yeah.
And so I don't see anything wrong with that, because if you have a business and you're trying to create a certain atmosphere, then you create that atmosphere. How many times have we been out and it's been ladies' night?
Yeah.
And it's been a whole lot of ladies there and less men.
Mm-hmm.
That dynamic was created on purpose.
Yeah.
So I think that man is entitled to do with his business what he wants to do with his business, and he's creating the environment that he wants to patronize. You know what I mean? He wants to service.
Yeah.
And I think that when you reach a certain age, how it should go, when you reach a certain age, there's a different level of maturity, and maybe he doesn't want to deal with the riffraff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's some clubs you go to and you can tell when it's 21 and up because it's a whole different crowd as opposed to when it's, a little bit older crowd. But the only thing I had against it, this is about some 30-year-old, this is where older people can go. Who's old at 30? I'm not old. I'm a 40.
So there was a restaurant that Linnea and I used to frequent a lot, and the owner, because we knew him, he actually told me that he was thinking about raising the age of the people coming to eat in the restaurant, because what he didn't like was the younger people disrespecting the dinner environment, because they would come in reeking of weed. And he said that he didn't want that because he had a lot of church people coming into his restaurant, and they were being put off because, church people have their sensibilities, and they didn't want it dying around that type of, in that environment. Yeah. So he was toying around with the idea, because he would send people out. He would tell people at the door, if he smelled marijuana on people, he would send them out the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he said, it's his business. He do what he wants. Do what he wants. All right, well, Kim Porter, her father publicly speaking out for the first time after seeing the video footage of Diddy assaulting Cassie, which recently resurfaced on, via CNN. In an exclusive conversation with Rolling Stone, the 78-year-old Jake Porter says that he was left wondering what his late daughter, Kim, may have endured during her relationship with Diddy after watching the brutally beaten Cassie on video. He said, "You can say I was disgusted with the video. I wouldn't treat my enemy like that. It was despicable. I couldn't believe it. I was in Vietnam and I wouldn't do that to my enemy. Porter was asked whether or not he witnessed Diddy physically abusing Kim, to which he replied that he had never seen anything to that extent. But it made me wonder. Porter also stated that he believed Diddy was a very jealous person and he often questioned the mogul's intentions with his daughter. Porter expressed his sympathies to Cassie, saying, I don't know he could stoop that low. I imagine it surprised a lot of people. I wouldn't even do a dog like that. My heart goes out to Cassie. Now, some people kind of like, when he said, I've never seen Diddy abuse Kim Porter to that extent. They're saying, what extent? But what are your thoughts on his comments, Chica?
So maybe Saturday, it was either Friday night or Saturday, I don't remember. But I, had my music playing as I was, cleaning up my home.
Mhm.
And his song in my playlist last night, the one that features Keisha Cole, came on.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows that song.
That's not.
Toward the
Yeah.
end, well, at the end, he has, he goes verbal, and he's saying some things about he tried to call her and she didn't answer the phone, and then his reaction to her not answering the phone and what he would do if she didn't get in touch with him. And it
Mhm.
struck me a totally different way. In the beginning, it was like funny. Before, all the stuff came out, it was like
Right.
funny. It was like, oh, it's a skit, after, the music ends. But then now I think about it differently. It was like, whoa, like, and then it was his words. He said, pardon my language, he said, uh, uh, um, I'm loosely quoting, but pretty much that's how that shit really goes down, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
in real life, like whatever he mentions, that's how it really goes down. And then he starts laughing, and he's like kind of like sort of like laughing with the producers that are recording the track with him. It hits me a little different. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. After we know what we know. Yeah, I wonder if the dad, sometimes we doing interviews, you say things and people can
Mm-hmm.
misconstrue what you're saying. When he said I didn't see him violence her to that extent, I'm hoping that he didn't see any violence towards his daughter, being a father. But yeah, but he did say his heart goes out to Cassie, and so more to come with that. He's still losing things. I'm seeing it every day on the news. For our last story, so Joy Reid. So there's Representative Byron Donalds. He is a Republican, Black Republican, who is in the running to be be a VP for Trump. So he's been all over the airways pleading Trump's case. And he said that it was a room full of Black Republicans, and he said that Black families during the Jim Crow era, excuse me, the rates were higher, and that Black people were voting conservatively, much conservatively during that era. And he was saying how it almost seemed like he was saying they were well off, better well off then than now. So of course he's had to walk that back. But Joy Reid asked them, he's married to a white conservative activist, and she asked him, she said, "You're saying that Black people were well off during Jim Crow. Could your family exist? You're married, you're in an interracial marriage, you have a white conservative activist as a wife. Could your family exist?" And he said no, and then he went on to say, "But that's why I'm in such a great country," and all that BS that they do. What are your thoughts on how far can you sell yourself? What are your thoughts on his comments about the Jim Crow era? Mind you, we couldn't vote. You couldn't marry who you wanted to marry. You couldn't be in an interracial marriage. Um, so you weren't voting. But what are your thoughts?
I think that we're irresponsible and ignorant.
Yeah.
Uh, for him to have the platform that he has and to be in the position that he's in, again, ignorant and irresponsible. And I think Auntie Joy Reid ate him for lunch
Yep.
and sent him out the pasture. I don't think that people that are living in a certain space. I'm going to include Clarence Thomas into that. I'm going to include what's the bald guy, the other one, Tim Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another one because he's dating outside of his race as well, or
Supposedly.
engaged to someone outside of his race.
Supposedly.
Would you say?
Supposedly. No one believes that. Okay.
Yeah, but he's putting up that front. Like
Yeah.
that's his space. That's where he dwells.
Yeah.
There's something synonymous in that, and I think that these people feel a certain way because they're dating outside their race. I'm almost going to argue, and I'm just this is cheeky speaking. I think they forgot who the hell they are.
Yeah.
Like, you need to look in the mirror, a reality check, and you need to realize that you don't belong where you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm including Clarence Thomas in that as well, because you look foolish, you look crazy. Because at the end of the day, it's going to come home to roost. Either the people that you love so much, or you supporting so much, or you're in their back pocket, are going to turn on you, or you're going to lose support.
Yeah. I agree.
They all lost support from the Black community. I don't think I know anyone for any of those gentlemen, even Ben Carson. I don't know me personally, I don't know any people of color that support any of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Plies, the rapper Plies, he's been going hard for the Biden administration, and he released a song, and I heard a snippet of the song, and he speaks to that, how these Black Republicans, how they're going hard. They put Ben Carson over HUD. It's ridiculous. And I mean, the more that I see,
and so if you
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I said the more that I see Tim Scott and this guy Byron Donalds just kissing his feet, it's like, have you no respect for yourself? No respect for yourself. And I'm glad that we have Joy Reid and Abby Phillips. They go on their shows and they put up and listen. They'll listen to them talk, but they say, we're going to talk facts. I'm gonna have to correct you. These are facts. So,
yeah.
What are you gonna say?
And I just think in history that when you have someone who's, and I'm specifically speaking to African Americans, when you have someone who's African American and they start to live a different life, and I'm gonna use OJ as an example. Mm-hmm. You start to live a certain life, and you start to drink your own Kool-Aid, and you start to smell your own piss.
They will remind you who you are.
It's not a great end for you. It doesn't end well for you, because at the end of the day, your Blackness is still an issue for certain people.
Yeah.
And you can't run around making moves with impunity thinking that it's going to be all sweet for you, because at the end of the day, they're going to remind you that you're still Black.
It's still Black. It's still Black. Well, more to come on that. Well, listen, Chike, I want to thank you again for Hot Topics. Our girls will be back next week, but I will see you in movie reviews. When we come back, our interview with Skylar Reed right back after this.